What's up, Grayson Report? How's it going? What's up, Heather? Whatever, Delay Lux, Matthew. How's everyone going? I'll wait a few minutes for people to trickle in here. How's your Wednesday going? Happy Hump Day. What's up, Julissa? That's all right, but I'm glad you'll be lurking. And still listening to the show. That's cool, Julissa. I totally understand. I'll wait for a few people to trickle in here. Hold on, let me fix that. How's everyone doing? How's your Wednesday going? I decided to go on a little early just to try something different. Usually I go on later in the evening. But decided to go on a little earlier just to test the waters and see what's going on. Try something different. Never hurts to try something different. Brandon, what's up? As a reminder, just make sure you smash that like button when you get a chance. My Wednesday is going good. I think I finally recovered from the music festival this past weekend. Even yesterday. What's up, Daniel? Hello, just wanted to say hello. I'm not live, but live with Global Funk Radio. Hello, everyone. What's up, Daniel? How's it going? I think I finally recovered from the weekend. Even yesterday I was feeling kind of off, so today I woke up, felt much better. Finally got my rest. Which is a good thing. Got some sunshine today because it was a beautiful day, so I went out for a walk. Thank you, Heather Whatever, saying glad you're feeling better. Yeah, even a little yesterday, it was like I felt off and on good, but today, been feeling good all day, so that's a good thing. Heather Whatever goes beautiful. Yes, it is a beautiful day. Today was a beautiful day. We're supposed to get rain again, though. Again this weekend, so I'm trying to get in the vitamin D's. Super cool, Daniel, getting my hookup in the music industry. That is super cool, Daniel. I love music. That is my other passion. Besides spooky things. Rich Buddy, thumbs up for not covering Scientology. Rich Buddy, Scientology. I do every once in a while, Rich Buddy, but it's not my cup of tea. I'll go down every once in a while to see what's happening. But it literally is not my cup of tea. I'm more of the spooky. I like to deal with the dead instead of the living. if you get my drift. Logical Spock, what's up? And I'm more of a convention person, and I'm more of like I like to go to conventions and film conventions or sites and stuff like that than I am a protester. But I do like I did meet some of the people there and they're super cool, so I do support what they're doing. It's just I felt like a fish out of water. You guys are probably gonna get tired of me saying fish out of water, but I really did. And if you guys haven't done so, I have linked my Patreon to the top of the chat. It is free. It's just another way to, because I know YouTube likes to be pesky with notifications. It's just another way to catch me live and make sure if I do have a video up, you catch it as and there's also ways to support if you'd like to do so, and I will greatly appreciate it. Because as you know, I'm kind of doing this YouTube thing full time now. I quit my 9 to 5 about 2 weeks ago. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I just said goodbye. Best decision I've ever made. I'm a little scared about it because I'm used to I've never done anything like that before, so but my health and my happiness was more important. All right, guys, while I'm waiting for people to trickle in, did you guys see that they have dropped the first look for the Crow movie with Bill Skarsgård? I believe. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård. I'm not a huge fan of the Crow. Daniel goes, "Who wants to be a millionaire? Walk away." True. True. I mean, you could be making a gazillion dollars, and if you're not happy, what's the point? Yes, it is Rich Buddy. I don't know if it's a remake. They're saying it's a new incarnation. I will share. I kind of wanted to share it before I got into my main topics here to wait for people to trickle in. I don't know if it's a remake or a reimagination, but I do have this article from Variety. I just wanted to hear what your guys' thoughts were on it. I'm not a huge fan of the Crow movie. I know it's a cult favorite. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do like the movie, but not like a super big fan of it. But I don't know what I feel about these first look photos. Lisa Boo, what's up? So I'm not sure for the people that are trickling in. I'm just going over they have dropped the first look of the Crow, and I was waiting for people to trickle in, so I wanted to start off with this before I get into the main topics. Um I'm not sure if it's a remake or if it's a reimagination of it, but uh and I do like the original Crow with Brandon Lee. It's it's a cult favorite. But I don't know what I feel about this one. And it goes, and this one's for Variety Fair. It goes, first look, the Crow flies
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
with "What's up?" Hold on, let me remove this for a second.
No,
What's up?
what's up? What's up, everyone? This is a Nerd Report raid. Everyone, press that one button. If you just came in here from Nerd Report, it's Lisa's show. She's a little weird, which you look at her Facebook profile, it says that. What's the topic? Go on.
Okay, well, I was gonna start off with this because they have the first look of the Crow movie.
Oh, let's do that. Is it
And
actually coming out?
and I wanted to see what everyone's reaction to it because I was kind of like, I don't know what to think about it.
All right, let's
And
go.
this one's from Variety. And it goes, more than 30 years after tragically struck, the Brandon Lee version director Robert Sanders launches a new incarnation. And yeah, I don't know what to feel about it.
Is that the look?
That's the first. Yes.
Is that the Crow?
Yes.
Where? On the right or left? Because they both look like the Crow.
I was just about to say it's the one on the left.
Just don't put the fucking movie. Sorry, don't do the movie. Just don't make the movie.
And don't get me wrong, I love Bill Skarsgård. I do. He is creepy.
Is that him?
Yes. He can transform into anything. That's what I think is crazy. Just looking at him like normally, he looks creepy. In my opinion.
Well, okay, but he didn't transform into.
Whoa! Wait! There's more pictures.
Okay.
Bill Skarsgård is probably best known in the country as the guy beneath Pennywise's creepy clown grease paint in the recent It chillers. But that will likely change when audiences gets their first look at the Swedish actor and director's Robert Sanders Pro. Skarsgård steps into the role of goth rocker Eric Draven, who, along with his love Shelley, FKA Twigs, which is the person on the right, is brutally murdered when the demons of Shelley's past, in the form of a deliciously insinuating Danny Huston, catches up with them. Caught in a limbo state between the living and the dead, Eric sets out to avenge their deaths, walking the gossamer fine line between the natural world and the supernatural one. What drew me to this was the opportunity to make a dark romance, something that dealt with loss, grief, and the ethereal veil between life and death, and reaching through that, says Saunders, whose previous credit includes 2012's Snow White and the Huntsman and 2017 Ghost in the Shell. Realizing he's beginning to sound a little emo, the Brit laughs and adds, "Look, I grew up listening to Joy Division and The Cure, and this movie is a bit like a Cure song, The Beauty of Melancholy." So here's another picture of
But
Bill
he turns
Skarsgård.
but he turns into the crow after this lady's death, right?
Yeah, but wait, there's more. There's more pictures as I go down. Sonder knows that The Crow heads toward its June 7th release date. Much of the release chatter will focus on the 1994 version starring Brandon Lee, and how could it not? It was on the set of the film that the broningly handsome 28-year-old son of the late martial arts legend Bruce Lee was accidentally shot and killed in a pew-pew stunt gone awry, just as he was on the brink of becoming Hollywood's next action star. 3 decades later, the original Crow still holds up as a stylish pre-Marvel Studios adaptation of a graphic novel, but there's also something decidedly mid-90s about it. The dark, moody cinematography and rain-soaked alleys are right out of an MTV video, and the Stone Temple Pilots 9-inch needle drops now feel like a snapshot of Hollywood's house style in the post Tim Burton Batman era.
Where's the
So,
picture?
right here. I don't know what I feel about it.
Well, it's stupid.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't know. Look. I always thought the crow looked like Joker, Heath Ledger's. I gotta see it in action. That doesn't look as bad.
I mean, I'll watch it to check it out. I won't give it, because you can't really judge something by its cover.
Yeah. Hey, folks. By the way, Lisa told her job to shove it. I want to become a full-time YouTuber, or at least attempt to, because I love my fans. I love my community. So don't forget to hook her up with the Super Chat, Cash App, PayPal. I dare you to Cash App or PayPal, or who's going to be first. Did you get any yet? No. So guys, support this crazy lady. All right. Support this crazy lady, because then I have to pay for her, and I don't want to do it. Not just kidding. No, seriously, support her, man. She's crazy. You want more content, you gotta support your creator. Who's gonna be the first donation? I dare you to be that person right now. All right, there you go. I don't know. This picture right here, it's okay. I guess.
First thought was, I don't know what to think of it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because I'm used to, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little, the original Crow was a little more subtle than that.
I would like more of a close up to his face.
I don't know if there is one. Let me see.
Oh my God, Wendy dared to be the first super chat. Who's gonna follow her? Thank you,
Wendy. Hearts for Wendy, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
No, there isn't. Remember. It's just those. Or just this one.
Well, I mean, it's happening. We could stop talking. Remember Momoa was gonna be in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a cult favorite, so people are gonna be protective of the first one. So, which I don't blame, because I'm kind of the same way when it comes to when they redid Hellraiser and all that.
Well, one thing I had to learn is, like, no matter how bad these remakes are or sequels, it doesn't ruin your love for the other one. The other one's still good. Yeah, that look is kind of dated.
It is, because, well, when did this come out? Like in the 90s? It did come out in the 90s.
Brandon Fraser, we're looking at that right now. It looks it's a little dated. You know?
And they kind of gave Bill Skarsgård kind of like that edgy grunge look, I think.
Yeah, you know what? The Bill Sarsgaard is kind of growing on me. You know what I mean?
Let me
Anyways, I gotta get going, Lisa. Everybody, please support Lisa. I gotta eat something. I'm getting hangry.
okay.
All right. Are you guys gonna support Lisa, guys? Let's see those ones up in the comments. Let's see the hearts. Let us know where you're watching from right now. Let us know if you first timers here. If you have any topics you want Lisa to cover, go ahead and let her know. We will talk to you later. Grayson out or whatever you say. I don't know what it is.
I said stay spooky.
Hey, the show continues. Let's do it.
Alrighty. All right, guys, before. But anyways, what do you guys think of Bill Skarsgård as the Crow and his look? Hold on. I'll put him back up. Brandon goes Brandon Lee or Bruce Lee. It's Brandon Lee. I think I'm going to chime in with the Brandon Lee thing. I think Bruce Lee, it makes sense to me. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to kind of go kilter off topic here, but it makes sense to me that Bruce Lee had a family curse and which affected the men in the family. So I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I've always believed that. And the fact that his son did pass away by an accident kind of brings that, makes it a reality to me. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? And thank you. Which type of crows stick together? Velcros. Ha ha. Hearts for Ann, guys. Brandon goes, they are cursed. I believe Lisa. Luisa's life, I agree. I don't know, for some odd reason, um, it was mentioned in one of the Brandon Lee movies, I'm not sure which one, that he had a family curse that affected the men. And I've always been a true believer that that is the case. I know some people just knock it off, but that's what I kind of believe in. And I've always felt that it was a family curse that was put upon his father, and I think it was his father before him that also had the curse. That's why it affected Bruce as well. D Nice goes, Lisa, are you gonna go up north to visit their graves? It's nice. Oh, maybe one day I will. D Nice. That sounds cool. Super cool. I've never been to their graves, but I've seen other martial artists who have gone, because I'm a huge martial artist fan as well. Um, who have gone to visit his grave. Wendy goes, it could be a family curse. X was a martial arts passion, watched much things and passed down from generations. That's what it was passed down, and it only affected the male figures in the family. So his sister is not affected. And it's kind of sad that he lost his life at the age of 28. He had so much ahead of him. He was at the point of his life where he was rising. Heather, whatever goes, curse, maybe generational curses, spiritual darkness. Heather, whatever goes, very sad. It is very sad. And I feel like he passed away from the same thing. Well, it might not have been the same situation, but the root cause of it, I felt like he passed away from the same thing his father had. Louisa Life, I agree. Another fave that died too young and was good looking was Heath Ledger. Exactly. He was same thing. He he was young and the he was basically on the rise too as well. And after that performance, oh my gosh, as Joker. Whoo! Brandon goes, I heard it was Hollywood and the Chinese mafia too, and a business partner. That's very plausible too, as well. It could be a number of things. We will never know. That's the mystery of it. All right, guys, have any of you used? I'm going to get into the spookiness now. I just started, wanted to talk about the crow real quick. Um, have any of you guys heard of Mackinac Island in Michigan? It popped up in Ghost in the news where I Google Ghost in the news and see what's up. D Nice goes, why do all the hot ones pass so early? So we can immortalize their beauty. Louisa goes, I was in disbelief and very upset when I heard about Heath. Wendy goes, no, Lisa, do tell. Thank you, Heather, whatever. Hearts for Heather, whatever, as well for your PayPal. It's just my phone doesn't make noise anymore, so I don't know. It used to make noise. All right, so Mackinac Island, it popped up in Heather, whatever goes. My in-laws went to Mackinac Island. Different, right? I'm not good with geography. Popped up in Ghost in the News. Joanne, how's it going? So this is from Click on Detroit. Michigan's most haunted places, Mackinac Island, and I have a few articles to go with it. So Detroit, one of Michigan's most popular tourist destination, is also one of its most haunted, Mackinac Island. The small island sits on Lake Huron, covering almost 4 square miles of land between the upper and lower peninsulas of Michigan. History of Mackinac. Before Europeans began exploring the land in the 17th century, the island was home to an Ottawa settlement. The island was an essential part of the Great Lakes fur trade, which led to the establishment of Fort Mackinac by the British. It was the site of 2 different battles during the War of 1812. By the middle of the 1800s, the island was home to commercial fishing, which replaced fur as the island's biggest industry. Mackinac became Michigan's first state park in 1895 after the federal government left the island. Motorized vehicles were restricted to the island near the end of the 19th century, and the ban continues today. Haunted history of Mackinac. I do have articles that are that's going to go in depth about the Grand Hotel as well. And with rich, violent, and colorful history, Mackinac Island is a prime candidate for hauntings. The island essentially amounts to a huge Native American burial ground where a military fort was built and a lot of people were killed. Heather Salvatore, what's up? Oh, hold on, let me pause. And of course, I forgot to put the article up. Let me pause real quick. Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. I had forgotten. I got sideswiped. Skeleduck, which is a rubber ducky made of skeletons. I don't know how else to explain it. Rubber ducky shaped duck made a skeleton, made to look like a skeleton, I should say, is hidden somewhere in this background. And just remind me, I will reveal his location at the end of the stream. And I forgot to share my screen as duh. So, the Grand Hotel is one of the hotspots for paranormal activity. Legend says construction workers uncovered human remains while digging the hotel's foundation. One story tells of an evil entity which shows itself as a black mass with glowing red eyes. I don't know why, whenever I think of something scary, I always think of something with red eyes. A maintenance man working on the hotel's theater stage reported that the black mass rushed after him, knocking him off his feet. He awoke 2 days later and never returned. Staff have reported seeing a man in a top hat playing the bar's piano. Others see a woman in Victorian clothing who roams the halls, even getting into beds. The drowning pool. When I was reading this, I was like, the drowning pool? Okay, cool. One, nothing wrong with me. Two, nothing wrong with me. Okay, sorry. That's what I was thinking of. Is another hotspot. In the 1700s and early 1800s, if you know the song, you know, you know. 7 women were accused of being witches. Back in those days, one of the methods used for determining if someone was a witch or not was to tie rocks to their feet and throw them into the water to see if they would float or not. What the hell? If they sank, they were deemed innocent. Yeah, if they sink too, I hope they pulled them out. The 7 accused women were thrown into a lagoon on the island between Mission Point and downtown Mackinac, and all of them sank and drowned. Like, come on, really? Legend says, what's up, Gunner Girl? Legend says the women haunt the waters to this day. Visitors report seeing mysterious splashing shadows and dark figures floating above the surface. Fort Mackinac is a revolutionary war era fort on the island and popular tourist site. Visitors have reported strange orbs and pictures. In the hospital, some have felt feelings of sadness and have seen apparitions of phantom limbs. The sound of crying babies is often heard along with mysteriously moved furniture and motion detectors set off with no one around. At the officer's stone quarry quarters, ghost children are said to be playing with toys, leaving them thrown around the floor in the morning. Mission Point Resort was home to the Moral Realignment, a religious movement started in the 30s. It was built in the 50s. The resort popular ghost story is that of a man named Harvey who died in the late 60s. The story goes Harvey, who was dealing with a broken heart, pew-pewed himself behind the resort and wasn't discovered until 6 months later. How did it take him 6 months later to find him? The smell. Unless depending on when it occurred, if it occurred like in the winter months, then I could understand. But some believe there's more to Harvey's story, that perhaps he was killed. Harvey is often reported in Mission Point Theater, where visitors have reported being pinched or poked. A woman claims that while she was visiting a hotel on the island, she experienced some paranormal activity. She was alone in the hotel room when the bathroom door closed and the lights turned off. She never returned to the room alone. As you can probably guess, paranormal investigators often visit Mackinac. And I'm not going to show the videos. So, guys, what do you think of Mackinac Island so far? I found an article that goes more in depth with the hotel and the fort. Heather wants lobster. Heather Salvatore says they fed the witch prisoners lobsters, considered bad food because lobsters were bottom feeder. What? Melissa Smith goes, I heard that now they're $50 a pound. True. Very true. My thing is, they were saying that they would find kids in like the kind of uh where like the captain was or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like, how my first thought was that was like, how would there be kids there? Heather Salvatore goes, agreed. If I went out, good way to go. There's nothing wrong with bottom feeders. There's so many cute ones like catfish. What is it? Cory catfish. If you're looking at aquariums, Pleco Plecostomus or plecos. Well, they're not really bottom feeders, they kinda go all over. Alright, guys, so we're gonna go into the Grand Hotel because I felt like that article didn't really explain the history of the Grand Hotel. This place actually sounds pretty cool, and it's beautiful as well. It is a beautiful, like, beautiful hotel, and then mind you, you can't there's no motorized vehicles there. They had banned them, which kinda reminds me of Catalina, because Catalina, all you have is, like I think there's a few cars, though, in Catalina, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been to Catalina in a long time. I think the last time I went, I was in high school. But mostly they drive, like, electric carts. Nikki Bella, what's up? So this one's from Buy Michigan Now, and it's gonna go into the grand history of Mackinac's Grand Hotel. I do also have an article for the fort as well, and then more in depth on the hauntings in each of the locations because I felt like that article, the first article, didn't give us oomph. The grand history of Mackinac's Grand Hotel. This month, we once again travel north to the Great Turtle, better known as Mackinac Island. One of the most famous landmarks on the island, the Grand Hotel has its birthday on July 10th. Built in 1887, it continues to welcome visitors from around the globe. It is perhaps best known for having the longest porch in the world. The rich history of Mackinac's Grand Hotel also includes starring alongside Jane Seymour and Christopher Reeve in the movie Somewhere in Time. Plus, this beautiful structure has been visited by 5 U.S. presidents, as well as Thomas Edison and Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain. The grand idea is born. Readers may recall that Mackinac Island National Park became the second national park in the United States in 18. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn my sound off on my phone. This led the always historically popular gathering place to have an even larger increase in visitors to the island. By 1886, leaders from the Michigan Central Railroad, Grand Rapids and Indiana Railroad, and Detroit and Cleveland Steamship Navigation Company recognized an opportunity and wanted to capitalize on the nation's growing desire for recreational travel. Mackinac Island would be the perfect place to construct a luxurious hotel, one they hope would become America's summer palace. These companies formed the Mackinac Island Hotel Company and purchased the land to build the hotel. They agreed on a design from Detroit architects Mason and Rice. The construction was to be overseen by Charles Caskey, a prominent resort builder. He had designed several seasonal cottages throughout the area, along with his brother-in-law Alpho Alphonse Howie. I want to say that's Howie, or yeah, or it could be How when the E is silent. Caskey gradually created a stunning five-story resort hotel using Mason and Rice's plans. The building, featuring many outstanding amenities, including dining facilities, meeting spaces, and 286 gorgeous guest rooms, its exterior boasted stunning Queen Anne-inspired architecture along with accents of American colonial revivalism. Amazingly, the construction of the building only took 93 days to complete. Wow. Wendigo spent summer on the Cape as a child up to 18. That's super cool. Gunner Girl Goes Somewhere in Time was a great movie. My mom's favorite. It's so beautiful. I have not seen it. I may have to check it out after this. Caskey's Folly. Just over 3 months to build the resort seems unbelievable. That is for something, and that thing looks huge. and it took them just a little over 3 months to build. That's amazing. However, after being chosen to head the project in the fall of 1886, Caskey found out the hotel needed to be ready for business by the following summer because rooms had already been reserved. This gave him less than 9 months to complete construction. He took a year off from building cottages to focus on the project, but ran into some snags. Finding labor was a challenge because of the lack of available workers, and getting materials to the island was even more difficult, particularly since winter was fast approaching. And thank you for gifting a membership. Hearts to Anne, and welcome Tammy to the Wolf Pack. Hearts for Anne and Tammy. Thank you, Anne, for the support. That's awesome. Cascade didn't let this stop him. He agreed to pay 600 workers double the standard wage of the time, then used horses to sled lumber across the frozen waters that surrounded the island. This was similar to the way the British moved Fort Mackinac to the island during the American Revolution. Eventually, there was such a large pile of lumber to be seen on the island that locals called the project Casque's Follow. He wouldn't be deterred, however. When construction was to begin, the workers were housed in a tent village and split up into 3 different shifts. The night workers used lanterns and candlelight when construction began in March of 1887. Casquet ran into another problem when workers eventually demanded triple wages, but Casquet didn't back down and the pay scale remained double the standard wage. They were able to get the project done way under the desired time. Wow, just imagine working at night at that time. And this place is not huge, or it is huge. It's not small, is what I meant to say. Prior to the hotel opening on July 10th of 1887, it had been heavily advertised to residents living in Chicago, Erie, Montreal, and Detroit as a summer retreat spot. These vacationers from around the world began to arrive by lake steamer and rail in Mackinac City, where a catamaran was used to transport them over to the island. The year of its opening, nightly rates ranged from $3 to $5 a night, ladies and gentlemen. $3. I wonder what $5 got you. That's crazy, which might seem inexpensive, but by today's standards, that would be 90 to 150 a night. Imagine. But back then, that was a lot of money. Whatever goes no haunted night job, I would get my blanket. The hotel's 600-foot covered front porch soon became the primary meeting spot for anyone on Mackinac Island. As mentioned earlier, many important American figures visited the Grand Hotel around the time, including Thomas Edison. It was quite common to see Edison play with a few of his inventions while visiting. One such time when he unveiled his photograph on the front porch, Mark Twain also made many stops on his Midwest tours, and President Grover Cleveland and Theodore Roosevelt also visited. The hotel's popularity grew, and the owners decided to tap into a growing activity, golf. In 1901, the first of the 2 9-hole courses, the Grand Nine, was designed by golf course architect Tom Bendelow. It quickly became immensely popular. Rochelle, what's up? I stayed there in St. Ignaz before off season, as I grew up and lived in Michigan for 26 years. Definitely haunted. Really bizarre things happened in our time there. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Rochelle. I know I butchered it. Wow, that is crazy. I know this is kind of not spooky, but I kind of wanted to go into the history of the hotel because that kind of gave you. I know I butchered it, Rochelle. I know I did. And I kind of wanted to show the history of the hotel to kind of give you guys an idea. Because without knowing the history of a hotel, some of the hauntings may not make sense. Hey, Jeffrey, thank you for dropping by. Rochelle goes, just a lot of odd noises. We saw faint ghosts like images in the casino hallways. Oh, wow. So this goes the Woodville era. In 1919, W. Stewart Woodville joined the Grand Hotel as a desk clerk. After serving the business in several ways, he purchased the hotel 2 decades later amid the Great Depression. Despite the economic uncertainty of the time, the Grand Hotel reached a new heights in popularity due to Woodville's stewardship. His management succeeded in increasing the number of guests coming to the hotel, including influential guests like President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, and Dwight D. Eisenhower. He even convinced Hollywood producers to shoot portions of the 1947 musical comedy, This Time for Keeps, on site. The film starred Jamie Durante and Esther Williams for your old school film buffs out there. In 1935, the Mackinac Island Airport was built, giving visitors another way to reach the island. Once they landed, guests could be brought down in horse-drawn taxis. The Musser era. In 1957, the Grand Hotel was designated as a state historic building, giving more prestige. Also in the 50s, R.D. Dan Musser joined the staff as a cashier. He quickly rose through the ranks to become W. Stewart's Woodville's most trusted lieutenant. Musser fell in love with the building and eventually purchased it outright. I thought for a second there I was going to say he fell in love with Woodville's sister or something like that. I thought I was going to make it like a soap opera. And eventually purchased it outright from Woodville in 1979. Musser made many expansions and changes while keeping its historical charm. He and his wife, Amelia, initiated an ongoing series of renovations that continue to preserve the rich heritage of the Grand Hotel. Rochelle also says, and then at the hotel in St. Ignaz, a bizarre note slid under our day that read something about our bathroom and the sounds are normal and a reminder of our checkout time in a handwritten note. That is crazy. And Rochelle also said, I got freaked out so quickly, opened the door after the note, and nobody was there. That is crazy. Oh, they even go into somewhere in time. In the 70s, Hollywood arrived to film a new movie. Universal Studios brought Christopher Reeve, Jane Seymour, and Christopher Plummer, along with motorized vehicles, to film Somewhere in Time. The studio needed special permission from the city of Mackinac Island to bring cars onto the island for use in the film. Though not very popular with the critics at the time, many island visitors bring up the now timeless movie. It is so popular that every October the hotel hosts an annual convention for fans of the cult classic. And then it goes on because I'm the history of Mackinac's Grand Hotel demonstrates that it is truly an attraction worth visiting. Go, even if you were only able to view the amazing facility from a distance. But if you can manage, stay as a guest. That's a beautiful hotel. I wouldn't mind going there at all. All right, I'm going to skip to get to the spooky things because I felt like that little history lesson was a little too much history. So, the ghost of Mackinac Island. When you take an island that essentially amounts to a giant Native American burial ground, build a fort on it, kill a whole bunch of people there, then turn it into a tourist destination, you get the setup for a great 80s horror film. Or in this case, you get an island filled with so many ghosts it would be difficult to list them all. But while Mackinac might be teeming with spirits, there are few that tend to make their presence known a little more often. These ghosts are particularly recognized for not only scaring the bejesus out of visitors, but for pushing investigators to dig up some of the island's more unsavory events swept under the rug. The Grand Hotel, which we just finished reading about, was built in the late 19th century. I think it's in 1887. The Grand Hotel is known for two things: being the setting of the 1980 film Somewhere in Time, which is weird because that article said 1970. So what is it, guys? What is it? It said in the 70s in the previous article, starring Christopher Reeve, and for being haunted as all get out. Legends say that when the construction crew was digging the hotel's foundation, they began to find so many human skeletons that they lost track of them all. To this day, rumors persist that the workers, increasingly unsure of how to handle the situation, simply gave up on collecting the bones and started building the hotel anyway. The result are as you might predict. Debbie P goes 1980-ish. Honey 2800 goes, it's pronounced Mackinac. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Mackinac. Thank you, Melissa. Saying I love you guys. I've been on some streams with a bunch of people, so no one is chatting with each other, just boring comments. I love our interactions. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Debbie P goes 1980-ish for the movie Somewhere in Time, so this article is probably more accurate. Thank you, Debbie. Rochelle goes, you can actually order the fudge from them online. I do it most years around Christmas time. That is super cool. It's probably the best fudge you could ever have, too. I don't know. I've never tried it, but I can imagine. So, one of the spookiest tales to come from the old hotel deals with an evil entity in the form of a black mass. As two maintenance men performed a check of the hotel's theater stage, one of them was struck with the overwhelming feeling that something was watching them, something that he could only describe as evil. As he looked out over the stage, he noticed two glowing red eyes peering from a dark shadow hovering above the theater floor. As he watched in horror, the black form began to rush toward him, knocking him off his feet. 2 days later, the man awoke in a hospital and swore to never return to the Grand. The stories don't stop there. Some staff have reported seeing a man in a top hat frequenting the second floor bar's piano, only to disappear moments later, leaving only the lingering scent of a cigar behind. Others have reported a woman in Victorian clothing that tends to roam the hotel's employee housing, sometimes even curling up next to workers as they bed down for the night. Ooh, how freaky would that be? Mackinac. Fort Mackinac? It goes without saying that locations known for their part in battle are magnets for restless spirits. Just look at Gettysburg or the Perrysville battlefield, but rarely are there as many reports as the ones captured in Fort Mackinac, from apparitions of soldiers glimpsed walking the rifle range trail, to piles of phantom limbs spotted in the hospital, to furniture that moves on its own, tripping motion detectors in Officer Hill's apartment quarters. The fort has no shortage of paranormal activity. Not all of the deaths that occurred at Fort Mackinac, Mackinac, Mackinac were those of soldiers. Either at least 13 children died here. Victims of typhoid fever, that explains the children. Tuberculosis and other diseases. Those who have heard the cries of children echo through the halls believe that some of their spirits still reside among the private quarters where they once lived. Even eerier, those who wake early enough to watch the sunrise can sometimes hear the sounds of a phantom Fife player echoing through the fogs near the Fort North Sally Port entrance. Debbie goes the first time. Give me a second because I can. I Debbie P goes the first time I was there was 1982, and movie was already on cable. It was cool to check out a place where a movie was filmed. Still like that film. Sorry I'm late. That's okay, Debbie P. Thanks for sharing. That's super cool. Debbie P goes, definitely have to rewatch beginning of the stream. Been wanting to go back for years. Glad you're covering this. Oh, cool. Awesome, Debbie P. Honey, thank you. A fifey is a small woodwind instrument like a flute for anyone that does not know. Because I did not know. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. The Drowning Pool. And no, it's not the band. With that awesome song. Located in the area between the Mission Point Resort and Mackinac Nas downtown area is a 20-foot drop off, which has long been nicknamed the Drowning Pool. According to local historians and paranormal researcher Todd Clements, it received its name not from the occasional accidental drowning, but from the purposeful torture of women accused of witchcraft. Back in the 1700s and early 1800s, when Fort Mackinac was at its heyday, a lot of brothels popped up. 7 women were accused of being witches and enticing unsuspecting soldiers, fur traders, and husbands to their houses. It is said that rocks were tied around their ankles and they were thrown into the lagoon. If they sank, innocent, sorry. Clements believes that the accused still haunting the drowning pool, making Clements believes that the accused still haunt the drowning pool, making one of the scariest and most dangerous places on the island. We've seen shadows come out of the water that make no noise or ripples, he told the Midland Daily News. We've heard huge splashes that were too big to be fish, and no one is around. Dun dun dun. Debbie P, so it's a fife? Thank you. Thank you, Debbie P. Thank you guys for the pronunciations. Heather Salvatore goes, that was instead of divorce. It's still sad though, because these women were just probably regular women trying to make a living. I mean, mind you, that's probably not the best living, but it was something that they could survive on. So it's kind of sucks that they thought they were witches. And if they sank, they survived. Well, by the time they sank, they're gone. So how is that fair? That really, that's not a way. I feel sorry for those women. No wonder I don't blame them for haunting that area. I would. for the way they went. There was no reason for it. And of course, probably none of them floated. Honey goes, "Yep, women minding their own business," and whoop. Heather Salvatore, excuses. Exactly. Because they didn't like what they were doing? Like, come on. The men had a choice. So how is it the women's fault? I'm just going to add that in. Mission Point Resort, built in the 50s as a world conference center for the moral realignment, a cultish religious group that aimed to mold the world's morals to their own liking. The property changed hands a few times until the late 80s when it officially became the Mission Point Resort. Of all the haunts on Mackinac Island, this one resigns as the most active. Debbie P goes, "If you have a chance to go there, it is really beautiful, and now also the paranormal." Definitely, it sounds like an awesome place to go. Honey goes, "I.e. a cult." That's what I was thinking. The resort's most popular ghost is that of a student nicknamed Harvey, who died in the late 60s. As the official story goes, Harvey, the victim of a broken heart, made this way to the bluffs behind the resort, then leased to Mackinac College, pulled a pew pew, and then pew pewed himself. His body wasn't discovered for 6 months. That's where I kind of was like, oh, wait a minute. He went down to the bluffs. So maybe no one went there. And it could have been in the winter time too. Cause I was thinking the smell. Or maybe it was like in a secluded area. Clements, who spoke with a state police officer about the case, believes that there are more to Harvey's story, which might explain why his spirit never left the island. They ruled it a S at the time, and Clements said Clements, but we believe there was another guy involved in his death. Clements discovered that Harvey died from not one, but two pew pews to the head. Adding more fuel to the mystery was the fact that the pew pew was discovered nowhere near his body. If that doesn't say unfinished business, I don't know what does. Dun dun dun. Poor Harvey. Today, Harvey is often reported lingering in the Mission Point Theater, where he's known to pinch and poke young women in the dark. Hey, he's just being himself. Numerous other spirits are said to inhabit the resort, from ghosts of a young girl heard calling to her parents, to Native American spirits wandering the property, to a woman heard singing old-time music near the theater. The Mission Point Resort is so haunted, in fact, that it drew the attention of Sci-Fi's Ghosthunters, who filmed the episode there in 2010. And I did watch Ghosthunters back in the day, but I don't remember it. I probably did see it, I just don't remember it. One of the stars, Amy Bruni, believed that Mackinac's hauntings might have a lot to do with how little the island has changed over the years. Mackinac is legitimately a step back in time, she said. They don't allow motorized vehicles on the island, so it's so quiet and you just feel like you're from another era. They have also put a huge focus on restoration and preservation. So it puts you in the mindset that you can connect more with any spirit that may be lingering. You're looking at the island exactly as they did. And I think that's why so many never leave. It's always the same. Heather, whatever goes, bike rentals there too. That sounds fun. Debbie P goes, "It's cheaper to stay on mainland and take the ferry over," for those of you who want to visit. Despite a looming snowstorm, the Ghost Hunters team managed to capture evidence like phantom voices and footages, oh my gosh, of chairs moving on their own. But for Bruni, the visit wasn't enough. Now she's headed back to one of the most haunted islands in America. And not only is she bringing some of the world's most respected paranormal researchers with her. She's inviting the public to come along. We shot the episode, and I think this article is kind of old. We shot the episode in February, which meant it was like minus 15 the whole time we were there. I can honestly say I've never been so cold, Birdie reflected. But regardless of the deep freeze, we had an amazing time, and we were also impressed with the preservation of the island, its history, and the paranormal experiences we had there. I've always wanted to go back, but not in the winter. I'm not sure how old this article is. Now I'm curious. This article 2015. So this is a pretty old article. So guys, what do you think of the hauntings at Mackinac Island? And Amy kind of made a point in the article that because the island is so preserved with the lack of cars and vehicles, that is why spirits stay there, which makes sense. Chris, what's up? Heather, whatever goes, all of the past years, my in-laws talk about going there and never mention. Heather, whatever, they probably never had an experience because you're not always going to catch something when you go. So maybe they didn't, or maybe they just thought, oh, that's just the wind or something like that. You know how sometimes something happens and you always figure out it's something else instead of what actually happened? Rochelle goes, definitely not made up. So maybe they weren't looking for it. Well, I mean, not well, retract that. Maybe it was just something they had experiences and then they just shrugged it off like it was something else. That too, and what Honey says, some people are not open. Very true. Some people aren't open uh to the paranormal, so maybe they won't catch those things. And spirits sense that, and they'll be like, hell no, I'm staying away from this person. I don't blame them. I would too. Rochelle goes, no, you're absolutely right, Lisa, with your first statement. Basically, people mostly get haunted when they're invited in some sort of context. That's always the case. Chris Barber goes, I've always wanted to go there because of that movie Somewhere in Time, which they did mention in the article, so that's kind of hilarious. It's a beautiful place. I would definitely not want to go in the wintertime. Rochelle goes, some people invite spirits because their energy is a certain level. I've been studying up lately about energy levels, and it has a huge factor into what we see and what we aim at in life, for sure. I've also heard that energy. Debbie P also goes, plus right person, right place, right time. Always wanted to have experience, but never have. You could go to a place a gazillion times and might not have an experience at all. But it doesn't necessarily mean the place isn't haunted. Or you may have something where something did occur and you kind of be like, you could write it off. Like there's some explanation to it. I have to check that movie out. Now that's gotten me curious. So this one, because how they said in this article, how they said the children, that you could hear children, and then if you leave toys out, I guess they leave them all over the place or something like that. Um, this one kind of this is from Only in Your State. and it kind of I'm just gonna kind of proofread it. Actually, you know what? I'll read the whole thing. Hell with this. This is for the about the fort. Out of all the hauntings surrounding the small town of Mackinac Island, Michigan, this one might just be the creepiest. Though they said in that previous article that it was another thing, but that's all right. I'm going to take it as every piece of property on that island has some sort of history. Did you know there are haunted locations all over Michigan? Though Mackinac Island is Michigan's most haunted area, the creepiest haunted spot on the island is Fort Mackinac. If you aren't scared of ghosts or just want to get a chill up your spine on your travels, then consider visiting Fort Mackinac for more than just a history lesson. Fort Mackinac is a former military outpost built to control the straits. Situated on Mackinac Island, it made good use of the location until it closed in 1895. Today, it operates as a museum as part of the state park, which would be cool to go to because check that out. That building's awesome. However, Mackinac Island and consequently the fort is somewhat well known for being haunted, as we already know because I talked about the haunting. According to witness accounts, the children of a past commander, because I was like, how is there children there? Haunt the officers' hills quarters. Seeing a kid's ghostly form or strange object movement is the first way to get spooked in a museum like this. It's kind of sad too if you think about it. In addition to stories of ghost children and feeling of death, a phantom piper is said to walk the stonework above the north port. On misty mornings, it is said you can faintly hear his music and see him ever so slightly in the fog. Check out that view. Wow. Oh, that's the golf course. Beautiful. Walking by an area called the Black Hole, you may feel a chill creep up your neck. Surprisingly, other than hearing things and feeling like death due to skeletons found inside years ago, this is the least concerning area. What's up, Lisa Boo? Whether you're more scared of a hole people probably died in or ghost children, Fort Mackinac is a serious place for paranormal activity. Will you be able to handle it? Okay, it's saying in that picture, I can barely see it. The black hole served as the prison cell in the early guard houses. As its name implies, the crude dungeon was nothing more than a hole in the ground with stone walls, a dirt floor, and little provisions for light or fresh air. And that's as much as I can read. I can't read the other small print. Though not everyone believes in ghosts or the paranormal, there's no doubt that a fort with military use featured a lot of death during its history. Even if you don't see any ghosts, the museum is a great place for visitors of all ages. You can learn more by clicking here. Now, do you believe this fort is haunted? What do you believe is the creepiest spot in Michigan? Let us know below. So that kind of gave uh a little more info on the fort side of the island. The list of goes, my welcome mat just has an S for my name. Could just look like a room for ghosts, though. Heather, whatever goes, messy ghosts reminds me of Boogeyman. ICP, hey, pick up your toys. Hey, they just want to play. It's probably not much going on for them in the afterlife. Poor kids. I feel sad. I feel sorry for kid ghosts. I do. That makes me sad because they had so much life in front of them and something, well, at that time it was sickness, um, cut their life short. Jennifer Burry goes, "My unwelcome mat says, "Ho, why is you here?" And my other one says, "There's no reason to be here." Mine would just say, Chris, yeah, I was exactly gonna say that, Chris. I have a go away mat. I was gonna say mine would just say go away. Mason, how's it going? Mine would just say go away, or it would say, no, I'm not interested. Or it should say before you ring the doorbell, no, I'm not interested. Dot dot dot. And have a good day. Dot dot dot. If I can fit that on a mat, I don't know. Do not disturb. Go away. See if people actually. Oh, I don't know unless you could do the Walking Dead thing, dead inside, do not open. And then have like, I don't know, make some like zombie noises on the other side of the wall of your door. I'm doing good, Mason. Glad you were able to make it. Jennifer Bree goes, I almost got one that said come back with a warrant, but I thought that was still too inviting, so I didn't get it. Heather whatever goes, how about oh my god, I can't talk. Ferris Bueller, are you still there? Rochelle goes, oh, totally agree. Definitely do not like the welcome mats personally. Or the signs. They've got funny signs too. All right, this one's from Variety, and I thought I would share it because I thought it was kind of crazy. But they are coming out with a video game for Paranormal Activity. Yes, a video game for your gamers out there. And the only reason why I'm sharing this, I think this is kind of crazy. I'm like, how are you gonna do a video game? So it's probably gonna be like you holding a camera throughout the entire game, I guess, because it's a found footage film. A new video game based on Paramount's Paranormal Activity horror franchise is slated to release in 2026 from Dread XP, the publisher of hit horror video games The Mortuary Assistant. Per Dread XP and Paramount Global, the Paranormal Activity video game will bring the franchise's groundbreaking found footage style to horror enthusiasts in surprising new ways, immersing them in a story that expands upon the lore and world of films. The title, which will be available across multiple platforms, will include an advanced version of the haunt system that will dynamically alter the types and intensity of scares players will encounter based on their actions. So that means you're going to be doing this throughout the whole game. You'll be like, what was that? Dread XP. You know what they should do? They should put that in virtual reality. Oh my god. I know they have horror games already in virtual reality, but oh my gosh. That would just up it cuz when you have that headset on and it's like literally you get lost in it. That would be crazy. Dread XP co-director and creative. I think even when you have a huge TV and you're playing video games, you get into it. Dread XP and co-director and creative director Brian Clark, Darkstone Digital, the main developer of the Mortuary Assistant, is leading the development of the Paranormal Activity video game. Chris, good luck. I know that's a hard thing to do. Guys, hearts for Chris. I know it's only your first day, but keep it up. What's up the other side of life? How's it going? Beginning with the first Paranormal Activity film in 2007, the 7-film franchise for Blumhouse and Salona Films is credited with reimagining the found footage horror genre. The films have grossed more than 800 million at the worldwide box office. We are thrilled to work with Paramount Game Studios and to have the opportunity to bring the world of paranormal activity to gamers everywhere. Epic Pictures CEO and Dread XP producer Patrick Ewald Ewald said the films are steeped in rich lore and creative scares, and under the stewardship of creative director Brian Clark, Dread XP's Paranormal Activity video game will honor those core tenets and offer horror fans one of our most terrifying games yet. I used to be an avid video game player, but I haven't been in a while, but this is kind of grasping my interest here. Clark added, the success of the Paranormal Activity franchise epitomizes the power and reach of the horror genre. If you thought the mortuary system was scary, we're taking what we've learned during the development of that title and cranking it up with a more reactive and horrifying haunting system. It's going to be intense. Watch. Oh, there's a trailer for it? I won't play. Oh, it's not here. But I guess apparently way back somewhere there's a trailer for it. For those of you who play video games, I'm not too of an avid video game. I used to be, but that kind of caught my attention. I thought it was kind of interesting to share. Um, because I'm like, how are they going to do a found footage uh movie into a video game? So that's going to be kind of interesting. I guess you can choose the intensity of the haunts. So that'd be kind of cool. Chris Barber can't afford it anymore either. Yeah, because nowadays they're expensive. Games are like expensive. How much are they? Like a Nintendo Switch game is like $70, I think. 60 when it first comes out. Jennifer Murray goes, I still want to get and play Phasmophobia. I know there's quite a few out there. There's like uh there's quite a few. I know I had one. I think I still have it because it's on my because I had a bunch of games and I still have them. They're on my hard drive. And I know I had one. And I'd be like this when I was playing it. Heather Salvatore, I am doing Animal Crossing. That is my speed. I played Animal Crossing and then I stopped playing because once I get to a certain point, I don't know, with those, I just kind of stop playing. I get into them and then I just lose interest. Rochelle goes, I can't believe I just noticed you must have gotten. No, it's the same camera. You know what it is? I don't have the lights on in the back. So maybe it's focusing on me. Like maybe the lighting was messing with the. Jeff Robergo's still waiting for it to drop on Xbox. That's what I have. And then I have my computer, but my computer can't handle some of those because I got Stray on my computer. It's still on my computer and it could barely handle Stray. I was so sad. And if you guys aren't familiar with Stray, Stray is where you play the cat. I love that game. You actually play a cat. And my computer just could not handle it. Like it would stutter. And I was like, and it's the one I'm using right now. No, I know, Chris Barber. I was trying to say give hearts to motive for you that you quit smoking today, and I go, I know it was only one day. All right, I might think the only reason why I didn't put the lights on the back is because it's still light outside, and I was like, I don't need the lights on the back, but maybe I don't need the lights in the back. I'll leave them off for the next one. All right, I got one more article I'm going to share, and it's 5 urban legends that still live in Colorado, and it's from Yahoo. I used to be good at video games, but not anymore. Like, I lost my but I mean, like, Super Mario Brothers type games. That's the type of games I like to play. I don't like, I suck at Call of Duty and all them. I'm more of the, the Nintendo platform type of games where you play the little guy, you jump obstacles, you get power-ups. Those are the type of games I like. Jennifer Marie goes, before kids, I was Sims addict. Oh my god, I keep seeing Sims pop up like on my feeds, on my social media feeds, and I'll go, I want to try it. I don't think I've ever played Sims. Artie Art, what's up? So this is from Yahoo News, and it's 5 urban legends that still live in Colorado. I love urban legends. I love myths and folklore, so I'm always going to be drawn to an article that talks about urban legends. Denver! If you're looking for strange happenings or a creepy story to tell around the campfire, Colorado is home to many fascinating tales that some locals swear to be true. Others, however, call them urban myths. Whether or not you believe them, the remnants of these myths remain in the centennial state. The Yellow Honk House. In I know we have a Chaffee College here, so I hope that's how in Chaffee. I want to say Chaffee County. There's a tiny town near Salida called Maysville. It's home to the over 100-year-old yellow house. If you do drive by, be sure to honk. As the story goes, the original owner, Harry Miller, would sit in the chair and wave at people as they drove by. The drivers would wave back and eventually honk. Oh my God, Joe became the owner of the house in 2016 and was a fan of the story. He has since carried on its legacy. People honk out of good luck, especially the drivers who are about to head up to the nearby Monarch Pass. Good juju, Joe said. No honks for bad luck. On average, the owner counted 100 beeps a day. Wow. Tommy knockers were a Cornish miner's legend and a Stephen King, I think it was a TV movie back in the day because I remember watching it in class because I had a cool teacher that would play. I think it was like every Friday. If we behaved in class, he would play movies. I think it was an English teacher. Was a Cornish miner legend that was brought to Colorado. They were supposedly responsible for the strange noises in underground mines. These noises also warned miners of impending danger. The legend has stayed in Colorado to this day, with a local mining town coining a brewery after it. Tommy Knocker Brewery and Pub served local and tourists in Idaho Springs. Chris Barber, I think they do make sugar-free Twizzlers. I think I've seen them. I think those were Twizzlers. They might have been Red Vines. Riverdale Road. Riverdale Road is located in Adams County and is an 11-mile stretch of road from Thornton to Brighton. Some people say the Riverdale Road is one of the most haunted roads in the United States, while others just call it an urban myth. Is this Colorado road haunted? Either way, Color, Color, Coloradans drive through the road every day. The Denver Public Library says there have been stories passed down throughout the years, like the ghost jogger who taps on the side of passing cars, a phantom Camaro with one headlight, and a hitchhiker in white who disappears. For some odd reason, when they say hitchhikers, I think of it had nothing to do with hitchhikers, but for some odd reason, that Twilight Zone episode where it goes room for one more. I don't know why that just popped into my head right now. But one of the most popular stories has to do with the fire at the David Wolpert house. As legend has it, a man sets his home on fire with his family inside. The family died, and the man was never seen again, according to the Denver Public Library. On further research, the library couldn't find any reports of fatalities when the house burnt down by a mysterious, but a mysterious fire does make a good ghost story. The the Lafayette vampire. The legend dates back to the early 1900s when Theodore Fodor 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 Galva died of the flu epidemic after he came to Colorado from Transylvania. But the rumors of Galva being a vampire started after his demise when a tree grew in the middle of his gravesite in the northwest corner of the Lafayette municipal, municipal cemetery. Local legends has it that the tree grew from a spike that was hammered into Galva's heart. Dun dun dun. His gravesite has been decorated with trinkets from time to time. The Stanley Hotel. What's a Colorado ghost story without the mention of the Stanley Hotel? This may be Colorado's most popular ghost stories as it's one of the most haunted hotels in the nation. The hotel in Estates Park is notorious for inspiring The Shining, but there's more to this ghost story than a chilling horror novel by Stephen King. From invisible piano playing at the concert hall to fourth floor ghost sightings, the hotel has received numerous reports of ghost stories throughout the years. What do you guys think of the urban legends of Colorado? I thought they were kind of cool. I like the one. Which one of those did you like? Out of the four, I should say, because the Stanley Hotel is not really an urban legend. I don't consider it an urban legend. And talking about to back to video consoles, if you like just like the type of games that I like with where you just play the little guy or like Animal Crossing where you're building things, you're still playing like a character. Um the Switch is actually a good console for that. That's the one I play the most actually. If I pick up my Switch more than I play any other game. Cuz those are just the things I like. I just like those type of games. I like the simple games. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, pew-pewing zombies is fun too, but I just suck at those. I liked, going back to that article, I liked the one with the honking. That one was cool, where you drive by the house and you honk. Melissa Smith goes, Tommy Knocker, good Imperial Lager, Idaho Springs is creepy. Louisa Louisa's life likes the yellow house. Lisa Boo, I like racing games too. Oh, I like racing games too. They're simple. I get mad though when I play racing games. The one I loved Need for Speed. And I know that's not on a Nintendo. Well, it might be on Switch. I don't know if it is, but I loved Need for Speed only because you can customize your car. And I had a Nissan 300 SX. I think it was a 300. No, it was a 200 SX. I had a Nissan and I had it all tripped out with the tires. I don't know. I like that game. I'm weird that way. Bernadette, what's up? And I used to be like, especially when I play racing games, I'm like, I get all into it. I need to play. I need to get back into playing those. I haven't played those in years. Or like Mario Kart. I like Mario Kart too, but I don't own Mario Kart. I'm waiting for it to go on sale because it's still Mario Kart's still like $50. I was like, what? They are like I don't get bored of those, especially like every time you win a race, you can like put upgrades on your car. I don't know. I'm weird like that. Luis's life goes on horrible at racing games. Oh, Twisted Metal too. Twisted Metal was a little. I felt like Metal was more like you just wasn't. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember it correctly, because I haven't played that one in years, I felt like it was more of like you would hit other cars and then you would have like little pew pews on the top. I like Luisa's Life. I like matching games too, like Mahong and all that. I like to play those. I go crazy for those matching games. Heather Salvatore goes, find one we can all hook up or smash card games on the Switch. I should look and I should do a stream where we're just yelling at each other while we go crazy. Trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody. No, I didn't. All right. Julissa goes, that would be fun. Rochelle says it's a great idea. All right, I've got this video. I have 2 videos I'd like to share, and then we'll open it up to questions. So this one's on Instagram. And it's from Ghost Inspector Greg. I don't know if you guys can see it because this one's kind of. I feel like that picture's small. Oh, you can see it.
Oh, that's cool. What's that? What's that in the corner?
The man hanging.
Oh, why have you drawn that?
He's hanging there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He lights me at the night.
Why?
Because he does this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I'm not allowed to tell anybody.
Okay.
Stop it.
Elliot, what are you doing?
I see them hanging.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
He's crying. And I keep saying stop it.
Is he crying?
Yeah.
So this is the photo of the hanging man he's seen in the corner of his room. I'm going to ask him to draw it again when I've rubbed it completely off. Elliot, can you draw the hanging man for me like you did before?
No, because he'll tell me off at night.
What if I don't let him? What if you can sleep in my room? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Elliot, what are you doing?
Guys, what do you think of this video? Do you think this kid is telling the truth? Lisa Boo goes, kids and animals can see things. Rochelle goes, oh my god, spooky. That it kind of gives me chills. Heather, whatever goes, time to move, freaky. Bernadette goes, that kid has issues. Chris Barber believes him. Heather whatever goes, find another haunted apartment or house. I'm not sure if that was an apartment because it just kind of shows he has a cool room though. Come on. That has to be creepy. I don't care if it's for a kid to see that. Oh my gosh. Girl goes, it's definitely creepy. I'd be freaked out. Heather whatever goes, I'll believe him too unless he saw a movie like that. Rochelle goes, I don't know what to think because an abusive situation also gets kids in a therapy session draw similar or like drowning or no windows on house. Lisa Boo goes, scary. I think that one's kind of scary. Like it's kind of hard with kids because I know kids can see things that we can't. So for me, when I see a kid, it's kind of believable to me. And that's freaky. That is freaky to me. Luisa's life goes, my sister see angels. Heather, whatever goes, the scariest I've seen on your channel. Luisa's life goes, my sister sees angels. She's mentally handicapped. Thank you, Jennifer, for dropping by. I appreciate it. Shelly, what's up? Rochelle goes, it is more, yeah, it is more believable with kids. For me, it is. And that's why whenever I see a video with kids, I always tend to play it because I know kids are impressionable, but I feel like too, they do see things. I got one more and it's not, I don't know. I feel like it's creepy. It's not really someone seeing a ghost or anything, but it's creepy. Beware Bernadette, because I know you don't like these, but I just thought it was a creepy video. And this one's from, it's from Instagram as well. It's from Paranormal Mechs. And I just thought it was creepy because it's like, say hello to my little friend. Sorry. And then it says, para los que les gustan los payosas. The sound is freaking getting on me. Hold on. Para los que les gustan los payasos. There you go. Which is clowns. Sorry, Bernadette, but I did warn you. Those are freaky. I don't know why. These freak me out. And I don't. It's because they're vintage looking. D-Dice goes, oh, they look cute. Heather Salvatore goes, blocking eyes. Brandon Torres goes, piosis? Piosos. Julissa goes, me. Lisa Boo goes, creepy. I just thought when I saw it was just creepy. Like, it has that vintage. Oh. But let me take them off the screen because I know Bernadette does not like clowns. Shelly goes, not a clown fan. D-Dice goes, I think I've been watching too many clown videos. Brandon goes trying to help with the enunciation. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Gutter girl, it's distracting. She goes, it's worse with Al Pacino and his little friend. that distracted me. I kept looking over there. No problem. But I just I wanted to share it because it's creepy looking. It has like that vintage. I was like, that's creepy. Clowns don't creep me out, but that's creeping me out. Luis's life goes, my daughter hates clowns. With these, I could see why clowns scare so many people. Yeah, those clowns are creepy looking. Rochelle's like, clowns. Oh, hell no. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. Brandon goes, I'll be a clown at Mad Monster. I'm going to open up for question, guys. Criticisms, complaints, suggestions. Luis's life goes, looks like an old film of them. That music makes it even creepy. Yeah, that's why I wanted to share it, because it actually looks like an old, like, 20s silent film. Heather Salvador goes, those were creepy. Heather whatever's worried about the little boy who keeps seeing the hanged man in the corner of his bedroom. That is creepy too. Those were both creepy. All right, guys, let me reveal the location of the skeleduck before I forget, and then we'll open it up. But if you have questions, feel free to ask. And Shelly, I'll get to Shelly. Let me get to Shelly's question first, and I'll reveal his location. Are you excited about going to Mad Monster? Hell yeah, Shelly! I'm always excited to go. I go every year, and I always have a blast. It's always something different. I'm not looking forward to the 100 degrees, but I always have a blast when I go. So, guys, the skeleduck is right there. If you see his beak sticking out behind the Squid Game guy. He's right there. I've never hidden him on that side of the screen, so I said, why not? So he's right where my finger's pointing. Brandon goes, good hiding spot. Chris Barber also said the same thing. Bernadette goes, it's hotter than Devil's Coochie. Yes, it is. It's hot. But luckily, the air conditioning is great in that hotel. Heather Salvatore goes, that is no fair. That is where my chat is. Oh, sorry, Heather. Melissa's asking, will you be carrying all of Lewis's luggage again? I might be, because he's probably going to film something. Bernadette goes, that pinche duck wins again. Heather whatever goes, I thought he was above her ear thing. One of these days, I'm just going to like put him on my head. Go, skeleduck is somewhere around. I should do that one day. Heather whatever goes, duck rules. Definitely. That's all right, Tyranna. Glad you can make it. Bernadette saying under your hat. To be honest with you, I was thinking that. I was going to get like a real, because I have one of my hats is like super slouchy. And I was going to put it under my hat with like little, like the tail sticking out or something. Brandon goes, I found something hotter than the desert in Arizona. Last Mad Monster, and I haven't been happier. That's super awesome, Brandon. And I can't talk today. Gutter Girl goes, if you come now, it's a beautiful 60 and 70s. I remember because during the pandemic, Mad Monster had to push because usually they're in July, right? But they had to push it that year to October. And I remember watching the news and they were saying it's only 90 degrees. And I was like, only? At that in October at that time, it was like only, as the news said, 90 degrees. But it wasn't as bad. It was a little cooler. Heather Salvatore saying, loving the hat. Thank you. I found it buried in my hat box and I was like, oh, I forgot I had this one. I'm going to wear it. But it's still beautiful in Arizona heat, regardless of the heat or not. I always find it beautiful. It's like a beautiful, it's always, I don't know, compared to LA, like even when I go to Las Vegas, I feel like it's cleaner than here. I am a cold weather person. I love cold weather or like how it is today. I think today was like in the high. What's the high today? 66. That's what I like. Melissa Smith goes, I need to learn how to crochet beanies. That's probably one of the things I want to learn. Oh, Bernie Dick goes, put the pinche duck as on a chain as a necklace. I should do that one day. But the problem is you don't see some of my chains. I'd have to be like this. I like the cold and the rain. I prefer it. It's easier to warm up in the wintertime than it is to cool down in the summertime. Because at least in the wintertime, you can put a jacket on, you can turn on your heating blanket, you could put on a blanket. But summertime, it's like there's no escaping it. Guys, keep the questions going. D-Dice goes, I'll give you a crash course, then Ms. Lekka can critique me. Joanne goes, learn to crochet beanies at a bag o' day crochet. I actually like that name, bag a day. I will check that out. Chris Barber, I've heard of that. When you get older, the cold just doesn't agree with you. So I totally understand that. Chris goes, I used to love cold weather, but it's starting to hurt with my RA. Totally understand that. Bernadette loves the rain the most. Nerd Report back in the house. Lisa Boo misses my hike videos. I'm waiting for the weather to kind of die down because we're supposed to get rain again. And there's a place I want to go that's allegedly haunted and it's hiking. So that was one of my plans. Joanne goes, I've made several beanies already. Oh, cool. I like the name Bag O' Day. That's kind of cool. Let me write that down because I will forget. D Dice goes, I will share my arsenal or hooks and needles on Telegram. Heather whatever goes, big storm coming in. They can sweep across California, so could be a lot of rain. Also, lots of snow coming here. I know it's seen like 2 days of rain here. Brandon is asking, is Laurel Canyon considered haunted because of the Manson family? They're saying, what did I hear about that? Like, because there's the Los Feliz murder house as well. Well, that's what that's from, actually. I think they're saying, I don't think they say that area is haunted, but I heard something about, because there's another house near that area that I had saw on one of the ghost hunting programs, that they said like there's an energy in that area or something like that. If that makes sense. Mr. Ruck Gaming, how's it going? Melissa goes, I watch rain videos to fall asleep. It can also make me be I do the white noise. Heather, whatever, that's why I try to stay active. I try to stay active so the aching joints stay away. But I do have an achy joint. Because I think I messed up my hamstring. So it's been giving me issues. Because who is it? Dick Van Dyke? He's like 90 something and he exercises. And he still moves around like it's nothing. Brandon goes, I messed up a ham. I don't know what I did to it, but it feels like my leg is a rubber band. My right one. So I call it my bum leg right now. So it's whenever I go upstairs or I go up a hill, like I can feel it. Like I was walking around the neighborhood today and I felt it. And I was like, oh. Joanne goes, Aquafit is great for aching joints. Heather Salvatore does lawnmower noises. I've got a little box that does white noise, so it's like all just white noise. And I could turn it down and up. It's the greatest invention of man. And I've stretched it. Trust me. I've done all the stretches. Heather, whatever goes, Dick Van Dyke is sober. He was my neighbor somewhere close. People saw him walking. Yeah, they even, when they were doing an interview, I think he was doing for his birthday, I think he was exercising. He was stretching. So to be 90 something and to still have, and then there's also a woman that I follow, and I think she's like, I don't know how old she is. She's either in her 60s or 70s, and she's like a fitness person. And I kind of follow them. I follow her for like motivation because I'm like, dude, if she could do it, I could do it. And she's like ripped. She's kind of ripped too. And I'm like, dang. Not like super ripped, but she's got muscles. Gunner Girl goes, my grandma was amazing at crochet and knitting. She always made baby beanies and donated them. I have a bunch of them and I'm going to give them to my grandson. So his great grandmother. Wow, that is super awesome. That is always the best gift. I love gifts like that. That is super cool that you can pass down. That one, Joanne. I think that was the one. Train with Jane. She's 75. I think that's the one I follow. She's not ripped, but I mean she's in shape. Heather Salvatore goes, weird across the country. I'm on the East Coast and we're supposed to have high winds tonight. Whoa, wow. Melissa goes, "It's so serene to go outside in the middle of the night while it's snowing with a full moon. It's bright as twilight, pink sky, and so quiet. That is awesome." Brandon goes, "I remember Sit and Be Fit on PBS." I don't remember that one. And I know PBS had some crazy programming back in the day. Bernadette Bernadette goes, "I always stretch to grab the chips." That I mean, yeah, that's considered stretching, Bernadette. Oh, that's super cool. D Nice. D Nice got a bunch of crochet hooks. That's super awesome. Melissa remembers Sit and Be Fit. I don't remember it. I don't at all. Shelly exercises in my chairs. Super cool. Rochelle goes, "My father used to call chair exercises, and then he would put it on and make us all watch it." Melissa goes, "Kegels." Heather whatever goes, "I run and hammer the heck out of my joints, bones strong though." Keep the questions going, guys. Louisa's life likes to crochet granny squares into blankets. I thought of it, but I don't. Lisa, she's asking, while on hikes, do you wear weights on your ankles? I need to get back at it. I was gonna do that. I just never did. I should though. Bernadette goes, "There's a fun way to stretch, but I can't say it on here." No, I seriously was gonna get weights to put on my I probably won't do it now though, because my leg is bummed. My right leg, for some odd reason, is giving me issues. Thank you, Heather Salvatore, for your PayPal. And she says, "Switch games for all of us to play. Pick one, maybe have a vote. Hearts for Heather Salvatore." Thank you, Heather Salvatore. Appreciate it. Heather Salvatore goes, "I lift weights, 5 pounds. I try to make sure I do weights once a week. I should do more, but I try. Because weights aren't my forte, but I know the older we get, it's very important to do weights. D Nice has lost her Switch. I need to start playing mine again. I had some cool games. I have like Ninja Turtles because I like the Ninja Turtles. All right, guys, I am gonna end the stream here because this girl is starting to get hangry, and you don't want to see me hangry. I turn green. I thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for all the support. Real quick, I do have a Patreon. It is pinned to the top of the chat. If you haven't done so already, it's free to join. It's just another way to know when I'm going live or if I have a video, because sometimes YouTube can be peskies. There are options to support. If you would like to support, I would greatly appreciate it, but it is free as well too. I'll see you guys on the next one. Definitely Saturday. I will just keep an eye out on my socials. And thanks again, and have a great evening and stay spooky. Good night, guys, or good evening, guys, because it's not night, but good evening. Thank you guys again.